Good morning everyone and welcome back to my channel English Literature. Today we are going to read part 2 of Maya Angelou's novel I know why the caged bird sings. We have already talked about the characters and the incident, the plot, and now we'll talk about the title of the poem. The title is taken from Paul Laurence Dunbar's poem Sympathy. I know what the caged bird feels, alas, when the sun is bright on the upland slopes, when the wind stirs soft through the springing grass, and the river flows like a stream of glass. When the first bird sings, and the first bird whoops, and the faint perfume from its chalice steals, I know what the caged bird feels. So this is the first stanza of Paul Laurence Dunbar's poem Sympathy, and from here this is the line that I know what the caged bird feels. And there's a in third stanza it is saying I know why the caged bird sings, and this phrase is taken from this third stanza of the poem Sympathy. I know why the caged bird sings. Ah, me, when his wing is bruised and his bosom sore, when he beats his bars and he would be free. So this is the source of this memoir by Maya Angelou. Now, it is more than a memoir. A person's life is shaped by the contemporary social, political situation and themes of segregation and color discrimination. So the various themes are interplaying in this novel, in this memoir. The title is evocative and connotative, hints at the powerlessness and defeat as well as its resonance of hope and positive energy. Now the book uplifts the reader's hearts with renewed hope for human struggle and ability in the consistent war against racism. And most of all, the book is about the journey of Maya towards womanhood, maturity and self-realization. Now, the caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown, but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. So there is the hope that the caged bird, it sings of freedom. Now we'll look at the images that are embedded in emotions. The truth of the statement was like a wadded up handkerchief, sopping wet in my fists. So this line is so pictorial, and you can vision the image in front of your eyes, and you can feel that wadded up handkerchief. The truth of the statement is like a wadded up handkerchief. What a metaphor! What a simile! The lingering emotions are so well drawn with the sensation of holding a wet handkerchief. The unfurling of metaphors. She describes her fear with the same intensity. I was always afraid when I found him watching me, and wished I could grow small like Tiny Tim. So this fearness, this apprehensiveness in the heart of a little girl is expressed in this way. The anecdote of Maya's tooth aching and the afterwards is so beautifully portrayed. The doctor's refusal to treat Maya, who crossed a long way. If you read the novel, you will find how arduous was the journey that Maya and her grandmother took to reach the doctor's chamber. How arduous was the journey. Struggling with the pain and with the long route, long way. But just because she was a black girl, the doctor refused to treat her. So how pathetic was the situation. And Maya's adoration for her grandma, her fantasy, her wistful mind that I talk about, that she is standing behind the closed door of the doctor's house and imagining her mama as the strongest woman, threatening the abusive doctor, all are just heart-wrenching. All our imagination, when I was reading this part of the novel, I was thinking for a moment that it is really happening. It is really happening that Maya's grandma Mama Henderson is really threatening the white doctor for not treating her grandchild. He describes her pain so perfectly that even I can feel it. 2 cavities that were rotten to the gums. The pain was beyond the relic of crushed aspirins or oil of cloves. Only one thing could help me, so I prayed earnestly that I would be allowed to sit under the house and under the building collapse on my left jaw. So you can imagine how pathetic, how horrible was the pain. And even with that pain, they crossed a long route to reach the doctor. But the doctor refused to treat because Maya was a black girl. So color discrimination and hatred can lead a person how far? Only one person can portray her pain in humor, and she is Maya Angelou. I had frozen to the pain. My family nearly had to tie me down to take the toothbrush away. Now every description is so visionary. You can feel, you can see that she is in pain. A little child, a little girl is in pain. Throughout the novel, we really such an intense interplay of metaphors and the human psyche. Okay, now have a look at the symbols. The symbol most prominent in this novel is the caged bird, obviously. Here in this autobiography, certainly Maya is the caged bird. And Maya is a caged bird, but she sings of freedom. She sings of freedom. She wants to be free from all this bondage of society. She is imprisoned within the bars of dilemma, confusion, racism, social norms. So all these things, racism and social bigotry, confusion, dilemma, all these are making bar around Maya, and she wants to get out of that. And now Maya sought freedom to follow her dreams. And not only Maya, but Uncle Willie with his disability, also a caged bird. Now the themes, if we talk about, the racism is the most vulnerable and most prominent theme and recurrent theme of this novel, obviously. The viciousness of segregation and racism is interwoven in the novel at every strand. Maya's struggle for fixing her identity. At the very beginning of the novel, we talked about that Maya wished to be a white girl, and he is wearing a white woman's just thrown away dress, and she dreams that she is becoming just like a fairy, and everyone is welcoming her, everyone is asking for her companionship. And the vulgarity of color discriminated society, hierarchy acts as a hindrance in the way of human empowerment. So in this social hierarchy, the white people are at the top, and the black they cannot reach that top bar because they are black for their color. And this led to the other themes of this novel, that is fight for identity that Maya has to do. Fight for her own identity. When she took a job at a white woman's house at the age 10, the woman wanted to give her a new name. But Maya refused. She proved herself as a respectable girl who never allowed others to erase her identity as a black Afro-American girl. So Maya never allowed anyone to erase her identity. So when the white woman want to give her a new name, that means a new identity, she did not approve it. The power of words. At every stage of her life, when frustration and humiliation engulfed her, she perceived the power of words, as taught by her teacher, Mrs. Flowers. She and her brother Bailey shared the same inclination for reading books. Maya lost her words when the trauma of rape overburdened her with the murder of the rapist. Again, with the same power of words that Mrs. Flower taught her, she regained her speech. So there we feel that words have some power in Maya. The feeling of segregation, that is quite associated with the racism, the theme of racism. Then Maya, and again the displacement, the continuous journey we talk about, that from California to Stamp, again from there to St. Louis, and here and there, Maya life is constant displacement. not settle. Not only Maya, also her brother Bailey. Continuous displacement was going on in their life from their childhood. And all through her life, she searched for a community where she could feel wanted and accepted. This belongingness that we everyone, that we want to feel that we are belong to here. Motherhood. Being a novice, Maya took part in unprotected sex and became pregnant. But she gave birth to her son proudly and without caring for social stigma, being a single mother. Now, narrative and style. The key voice of this novel is Maya herself. She takes us with a gripping hand to the intricate ways of her life, her journey for self-assertion. The narrative is vividly pictorial, and also there is a emotional thrust and powerful language domination in this novel, and everything written in black has the extra potential capacity to trigger all the sensory organs you have, certainly. What I feel you can see and can smell and touch all alone. I am going to give you an example. The sun had baked the oil out of Mama's skin and melted the Vaseline in her hair. She shone grizzly as she leaned out of the dentist's shadow. She described Daddy's girlfriend as fighting and possessing hatred for her. An argument ensued in the living area that was audible to me as if the separating walls are muslin sheets. Daddy and her girlfriend is quarreling and arguing over the issues, and Maya can hear everything as if there is no wall, no barricade. Those walls are just transformed into muslin sheets. So thin and so transparent. I struggled to think how the revelation would pass to her, iceberg of fate for me. Again, she described her sex with the boy most intrinsically and funnily. The book is so gripping and language so vivid that it was tough for me to detach my eyes from the pages when I was reading. And I know that it's the same experience you will feel, and you can share with me how you feel when you read. Even when I sometimes just scroll down the pages because I read the ebook, obviously, and scroll down the pages, I get absorbed again in the same theme, same lines again and again. They have such quality to keep you gripped, keep you in absorption. They're so interesting. The lines, the language, the images, everything is so interesting. The episodes of Maya's life, mirrored in pain and pleasure, all became mine when I go through it. I'm just sharing my experience with this book because I feel so attached with these books. It is not only a memoir but a historical pamphlet also. Through Maya's childhood, we get acquainted with the harsh reality of black lives, the bitter theme of segregation and humiliation and color politics. So in this respect, it has a great historical value, you can say. Okay, with this we finish our journey to Maya Angelou's Why the Caged Bird Sings. Thank you.